Hello everyone, welcome to this video about improving your writing that fits within your coffee break. If you're writing in your job or for your pleasure, you have to write emails, reports, whatever that might be, you've come to the right place. Better writing can significantly enhance your professional performance. Even in the age of generative AI, there is a lot you can gain from improving your writing. And if you're interested in how to write in the generative AI age, I have a video on how to use generative AI for writing. You might wonder why I feel that I'm qualified to tell you about how to improve your writing. I am not Shakespeare, I'm not even a native English speaker, but I think that paradoxically, this is what makes me particularly well placed to tell you about how you can improve your writing. I've struggled to master English writing, and I want now to share the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. I'll also recommend books that I have found useful as we go along. Let's get started. Do not sit down to write. This might raise some eyebrow, but hear me out. We often dread writing because we make it that big thing that we have to do. We have to find the time of doing. We have to clear our calendars to be able to sit down and write and complete whatever assignment we have. To overcome this, I would want you to stop thinking of writing as something that needs to happen in a specific place with a lot of preparation. I want you to start thinking beyond your desk and paper, beyond your computer, and I want you to think of writing as any event of capturing fleeting thoughts, whether you do that as audio notes on your phone, write small notes in your note app. Over time, you will accumulate enough of those notes that when you come down to put your piece of writing together, you're not starting from scratch. You can build on all those accumulated pieces of information that you've created over time. In addition, accumulating those notes will mean that every time you revisit a topic, it becomes easier and easier to write something about it. Writing is not about writing. Writing is, surprisingly, a lot about reading. Stephen King, in On Writing, emphasizes the importance of reading for fiction writers. Deirdre McCloskey, in Economical writing, echoes this for other genres. They suggest that reading broadly is foundational in order to be able to produce good writing. I suggest that you embrace this in your own writing adventures, whether they're for work, science, or pleasure. 2 tips about simplicity. Simplicity is key in writing. First, set simple goals to overcome procrastination. Jot down a few sentences. Do small chunks of writing. Make writing as approachable as possible so you build up the habit of writing over time. If you're always expecting to have the ideal conditions to write, you will never be able to write. Do it in chunks of 10, 15, 20 minutes. Get used to writing everywhere on different medium, so over time you build the habit of writing. In addition, this supports the practice of writing those small notes I was mentioning earlier. And once you get to the final piece of writing, you can start by organizing those notes. Second, strive for clarity. Your job as a writer is to make reading what you've written as easy as possible for your reader. In How to Read a Book, Adler and Van Doren call this coming to terms with an author. And what they mean by this is that when you first encounter an author, you first have to get used to their vocabulary and to the way they express themselves in order to be able to process the book they've written and understand the ideas that they're trying to convey. What that means is that you should make clarity something that is always front and center in your writing, because the easier it is for the reader to process what you've written, the more likely it is that the reader will engage and will actually read what you've written. 3 tricks to refine your writing. The first one is use I or we to make it easier for your reader to follow you. Sentences like "the author did this" or "that" are making it harder for the reader to process your writing. You might have had teachers that told you that you should not use I while you're writing. Take it from me, they were wrong. Prefer the active voice to the passive one. While the passive voice is not wrong, it often makes it harder to process what you've written. It also tends to hide who is doing the action. And the third one is limit your use of adverbs and adjectives. Aim for precision over quantity. For example, very adds very little to a sentence. Overdoing adverbs and adjectives just makes your writing heavier and harder to process for your reader. How to outline. Outlining is a craft. In the Little Book of Research Writing, Chaubey suggests that you need to align every title of section with your main argument, and then each of those sections needs to open with a short paragraph that gives the takeaway from that section. A solid outline is a springboard for a cohesive piece. If you use the technique of creating small notes, capturing your thoughts as you think about your piece of writing, by the time you start writing, you start outlining, you can use those notes as a starting point. But then how do you make that outline better? Well, you can do that by checking that all of the title of sections align with your main argument, and that the short takeaways of 2 to 4 sentences immediately at the beginning of your sections also reflect the contribution of that section to your main argument. How to build a paragraph. Think of paragraph as mini narratives within your story. The paragraph is the real unit of writing. Sentences are really too short to convey that much about your story, but paragraphs really need to relate to your main point. Start with a robust topic sentence that previews the paragraph's content. This will help skimmers grasp the essence of your point, and it also makes it easier for your regular readers to figure out what you're trying to convey. The second advantage of having a clear topic sentence is that you convey what the paragraph is about, and then the rest of the paragraph flows naturally from that sentence by filling in the blanks, adding examples, etc. Engage your audience. You need to know your audience. You need to know what they know in order to calibrate how much context you need to give them. That relates to the point I made earlier about how one of the things the reader has to do is to come to terms with you. Well, again, this is one way in which you can make this as easy as possible for the reader. 3 layers to every argument. Think of writing as navigating between 3 layers, a concept I borrow from the Little Book of Research Writing. Your main argument is the first layer, and each section of your piece needs to relate to that main argument. The second layer is your outline with the key takeaways. This is the scaffolding to your piece. And in the third layer, you have the paragraphs. Switching between those layers can help you when you hit a block. For example, if you're struggling with a specific paragraph, you can switch to the argument level and review your argument, or you can switch to your outline and look at a different place in your piece to see if your outline is still aligned with what you've already written. And often that mechanism of switching between layers will help you figure out what you need to do next to make progress on your piece. A strong lead. The opening of your writing, the lead, is crucial. Rather than starting with broad statements, grab attention with specific and thought-provoking openings. A compelling lead can make all the difference in engaging your reader from the start. What you have to do in that first sentence, in the first couple of paragraphs, is to convince the reader that there is something there, that it is worth their time. Shift a bit more of your effort into thinking about how you're going to open, whether it's with an example or with retelling what people usually think about the topic that you're covering. For example, debunking a widely held opinion about a topic can be an effective way to open. While first sentences and first paragraphs are difficult, if they're done well, they can make a massive difference to how impactful your piece is. Editing. Editing might be where the magic happens. It's your chance to refine and polish. William Zinsser in On Writing and Deirdre McCloskey in Economical Writing both suggest to read your text aloud as a powerful way of editing. It can reveal awkward phrasing and improve the flow of your text. One thing that I find works well is to use the tools that are in your computer that will read text aloud for you. Editing is also a way of giving yourself a break, because you can say, even if it's not perfect now, I can always edit later. And that's a wrap on essential writing tips that fit within your coffee break. Writing is both an art and a skill that you can continuously improve. If you're curious about the crossroad of technology and writing, my video about how to use generative AI for writing might be a good watch for you. If you found value in this video, please like, share, subscribe for more insightful content. Every bit of support helps. Until next time, happy writing. Bye for now.